Anthony Weiner, you remember him. It looks like he's thinking of entering the New York City mayor's race. Already. Really? Brad Gerstman is joining us. He's partner at Gotham Government Relations. Brad, isn't it just a little too soon? I mean, here's the deal. There was a picture. This isn't just some sort of note or some incident happened. There's pictures of what he did.
Yes, that's obviously going to be a problem for him. He's aware of that. It's just an interesting time in politics in general, especially in New York City. And I think that Anthony Weiner in his head knows that time is ticking. His name recognition still exists, which is a key part of some of the polling I'm sure he's done. He's realizing that a lot of the New York City Democratic mayoral candidates do not have that name recognition that he has. And he feels that if there's an opportunity to run, I'm sure that sooner rather than later. However, of course, he has that opposing problem that keeps knocking on his door, is that there are still photographs floating around, and he must have assessed his situation and feels that it's still the right time to run.
Did you think they ran some numbers with consultants and did some polling and figured out you got a crack? It's not going to be easy, but we might be able to pull this off?
Well, that's exactly what's happened. The polling internally with him, his consultants, his close advisors, has been going on for quite some time already. It's not a matter of if he's going to get back into politics. It's a matter of when. So they're going to keep dipping their toe in the water and feeling whether it's the right temperature to jump in. Although it may not be the optimal temperature at this point in time, there are some things going on with the New York City mayoral race that make it an opportune time potentially for him, given that there isn't a consensus on anyone in the Democratic Party yet, and there isn't any in there, and it doesn't seem like name recognition is very strong amongst any of them. And that being the case, that he has a real opportunity there to fill that void.
We're talking with Brad Gerstman. He's partner at Gotham Government Relations in New York about Anthony Weiner considering a run for the New York City mayor's race, despite the fact that he resigned from Congress after he tweeted a picture of his, how did they describe it on the local news last night? A picture of his groin. This news anchor woman described it as that. I thought, well, that's very tasteful. His groin. That's exactly what's floating out there. The problem, too, though, that when you're talking about there's things going on in the New York City race, I mean, there was arrests by the feds because of some bribery going on in the New York City mayor's race, which is sleazy. It's the S word. Anthony Weiner's actions were sleazy. Could it also backfire on him, given these arrests that took place in the mayor's race, where people are going like, you know what, we don't want anything like that? Is it kind of hard to find somebody squeaky clean in New York?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot at play here. I think some of the corruption that's gone on may play in his favor in some ways, because Anthony Weiner has never been subject to any kind of criminal activity, and no one's alleged such. He sent some pictures. Some would argue that he should have stayed and maintained his position in Congress and fought off all the attacks on him. But you can't. Politics is all about timing, and when the temperature is just about right, you can't wait for it to be perfect if you want to seize an opportunity. Look, if I'm him and I'm his consultant, I say you look at public advocate or controller, not mayor. I think that may be something that would be a better shot coming out of where he's come from. But he's not asking me my opinion, not yet, at least.
Well, hopefully he's listening. And by the way, have somebody else running the Twitter account. That's all we're saying, Anthony. Brad Gerstman, partner at Gotham Government Relations here in New York City. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
At 35 after the hour, as the daily wrap from the Wall Street Journal continues, I'm Michael Kastner.